Happy birthday, EFG. Happy birthday, EFG. Happy birthday, Engaged Family Gaming. Happy birthday to you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engage, a family gaming podcast. My name is Duetzmann, and I am your host, as always. This is a very special episode. Specifically, it is day 3 of our E3 coverage. We have survived this long. Hopefully, we'll survive a few more. This is our first day of actually being amongst the masses. More people than last year. I didn't think it was possible, but there are more. So we're going to do what we did the last couple of days. We're going to talk about the most awesome thing that we did or saw. So today, Drew is going to kick it off because this was...
Am I? Okay.
Well, you're going to kick it off because this is your first E3. And so that qualifies as an awesome thing, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what your impressions were during your first E3, and then I want to weigh that against kind of our experiences, being that we've been there a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. So let's start from the beginning. Wow, it's so much bigger. I anticipated it being massive, but it was so much bigger than I anticipated. It's difficult to describe. I was in South Room or West Room?
West Room.
So I was in the West Room at first, and I spent several hours walking around it and discovering new things, even after I'd walked past the place several times. And I thought, oh, well, this must be the whole thing. This is incredible. This would absolutely be fine. And then to find out there was another place, it was almost like, it wasn't disappointing. That's not the word I'm looking for. It was almost stressful. Really, I gotta go a whole other. The other side was also fantastic. I didn't expect there to be, for example, the Division 2 was in multiple places. I thought that was cool. It makes sense now that I saw that, but I didn't anticipate that. I didn't anticipate so many games that I wasn't expecting. I thought it would be more like the Division 2 takes up this huge section, and the Destiny 2 takes up this huge section, and it's less that. Even the big games only get a certain amount of space, and there's just a ton of stuff, which, for a person like me who's ADD, if you go into a thing and you don't like it, there's 90 other things you can do, and all 90 of them are at least borderline interesting. So I have a bad back, and I was not prepared to be on my feet all day, and I was still when we were leaving, it was I'm ready to go, but if we stay another hour, I won't be mad. It wasn't just a bunch of stuff. It was a bunch of really interesting stuff. And typically, whatever angle you want to be able to discuss something at, there's someone there that can meet you there to do it. It was like nerd heaven, honestly, being surrounded by everyone who's into video games and everyone who's making video games or supporting it. I loved it.
You know what? That kind of mirrors my experience last year. I've been to a number of trade shows, right? Anybody that listens to the podcast knows I've been to PAX a bunch of times. I go to New York Toy Fair. That's, how I spend a lot of time with James. And, those are massive, massive events. But it still never prepared me for E3. And part of it is just because E3 is so tall, right? When I go to PAX, the biggest freaking booth is, just
Really?
it's just there, yeah. They're small-ish. Whereas it feels like going from a city in Connecticut, and then going to New York City. You know what I mean? Where it's because the stuff in the Nintendo booth and the Sony booth, right? They're freaking 30 feet high.
Multiple stories.
Can I say about the Sony? So the Sony section was my favorite. They had this massive, ridiculously, I don't even, was it 3 screens plus?
Yes.
Why, I don't even know how tall they were. I honestly can't even estimate. It was just this massively long wall of screens, and the demos, or not the demos, but the videos they showed on them were just so... I kept going, that was my go-to place. I just kept going back there and watching it, and so many people were sitting down because, of course, there were no chairs. We'll get to that.
When we were sitting there with you, like as we all sat on, it was John, Drew, and me. Yeah. And we're all sitting there, and it felt like kindergarten story time in the future.
Facts.
It was so cool
because we were watching Dreams,
and we were
watching Dreams,
sitting cross-legged on the carpet, just like. This is what I wanted it to be when I was a kid.
The game Dreams was so like I was not sold on it at all before this, and I heard a bunch of stuff, and then seeing it there, like I guess I didn't really realize kind of what kind of game it was until I saw it happening, and I watched the guy. I can't remember his name. Oh God, help me! But I watched him like developing the little mini game, like in real time. It was fascinating. I didn't agree with all the choices, but like, my God, like the fact that you have so many different tools, the menu was so utterly intuitive.
Yeah.
Like music selection to like texture selection to animation selection and everything else. Like I can see kids as young as like 6 and 8 with some assistance, but 6 and 8 pulling this off.
He made an angry boss tree.
He did.
And then did the sound effects for it.
Yeah.
With his
mouth and inserted it directly into the game
and then
in real
sound
time.
Effects in the music with his mouth and the sound effects for the platform that he had moved, which he also animated. And
it was amazing.
I can't wait to see what people come up with it. Like that, the fact that he could come up with something was impressive, and that looked good was impressive. But I can't wait to see what it's like after.
Yeah, that's one of those things, man. We're gonna have to revisit Dreams. Because, like, I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be great for the 10% of the population that loves it, and then the rest of us are going to look at it and be like, eh. Because I'm bad at I'm making stuff. I'm sure I'm going to end up buying it. My kids are going to make something wacky. They're probably just going to make another Minecraft clone, because that's what they'll do.
I think there's going to be a big community of people. Like, Little Big Planet's community got weird because the tools were limited, so they were like, we can make stuff that we can make.
Also because people who build communities on the internet, generally weird. So, anyway, So that is first impressions. I think we're going to be talking more about this. I think he might be because you react to everything.
I've been in several. So this is just a general.
Yeah, this is general. I'm guessing that some of this will be in the written word at some point.
Absolutely.
Maybe by the time you listen to this, you'll be able to read it. I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe that was a purchase order. I don't know. So Jesse, so we talked about Drew's experience. Yep. You also had a unique experience. You've been to an Indiecade before, and historically, that's been like one of your favorite places because I know you love checking out little small games because you know how they work.
Yep.
You're a techie guy, so you know how the sausage is made. So seeing how small teams make stuff like really interests you, and it sounds like you went to the Indiecade and were less than impressed.
I was in fact less than impressed. I can't say that they didn't have some interesting things there, but literally about half of the booths that I went to basically ended with the conversation saying, cool, so what are you going to do with this to develop it more? What kind of additional things do you think you can do with this idea? And it was, this is a school project, so nothing. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Two standouts of that actually were, or not of that, but in opposition to that, were a small little group of very actually young people, very, mid-college years, who made Meet Me in the Garden, which is a puzzle game which you work with a partner locally, like at the same screen, to solve each other's puzzles by interacting with each other, which was designed to help people with social anxiety, which I thought was a really neat idea.
That's super cool.
Yeah, right? And I asked them what they thought that could do for, or what age group they had kind of aimed at that with, and they had said adults. And I said, well, we do a family gaming thing, and don't you think maybe this could be something that parents could use to help their children? And they hadn't thought of that, so we're actually going to be talking to them about what might come from that, which will be fun. But that was an interesting end that you can actually check out and download for free.
What's the platform?
Online. It's a computer.
Nice.
It's a PC.
So you're gonna drop that on me in a podcast? You can't even give me some spoilers that you're like.
You said just talk about whatever, so I'm talking about whatever. We can talk about it after.
I mean, jeez, that feels
I have all
like
sorts of information.
That feels like something I should have been prepared for.
It's good stuff.
Because that's really awesome. You got to prep. All right. So what else?
And then the other people were not necessarily an indie game, but they were definitely a startup company that's building another play them all the old games, all your old cartridges. They stood out a little bit because they actually they are called Playmagi. Yeah. And they basically are coming out early next year with a platform that has multiple plug-in components, so you can buy what you want to be able to play. and you can actually use your old cartridges and that kind of thing, which is pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Right, and we had the whole conversation about, well, most of these are crap. And I flat out said that to him, and he went, "Yeah, we know, that's why we built ours." And I went, "Cool, let me have one. Let me check one out when you get one going, and we'll talk about it." So hopefully we'll have something from them down the line, and an actual good platform that can do that.
That'd be exciting.
I mean, I don't know. The Retron is pretty okay.
Yeah, it's okay though. It's not something I'm going to go to everybody and be like, "You guys should buy this."
The issue with the Retron is that it's emulating.
Right.
Yes.
And that it will only emulate certain things, so you can't play newly created discs.
And emulated audio is always not good, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, but I'm
a purist.
You're one of those. All right, so
And then the last one was Ninjani. Remember how did
I just wanted to, for all the parents that are like, "Oh, well, I just bought my son like a Retron so he can rock some of my old Super Nintendo games." Y'all are fine.
Oh, absolutely. It works fine.
This is really more for the people that are like, these are for the people that like really, 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 really want to protect their laser discs. You know what I mean? Like those people rocking their laser disc copy of Terminator 2. Like they just want that on point.
I want to pull out all my old PlayStation discs and all my own Atari discs,
Yes.
cartridges, and
Can I pull out Zaxxon?
Yes, that's what I'm saying,
sure.
and plug that
And you know
sucker
what?
in,
This is what I
and play
want.
it with a wireless controller
On cassette tape?
on my giant 4K TV. That's what I want to do. Right. So, but anyway, so the last one that I met with and talked to was Ninjani. I don't know that I'm saying it right, but it's basically Ninja the Little Ninja, which is a phone game that is a runner game, but it's different than the other ones because it actually develops the character, has story and other characters that you kind of interact with and get to know as the runner goes on. You unlock different abilities that you can use, and it looks really, really cool.
That's the little ninja.
The little
right?
ninja one, yeah.
That
It
T-shirt
looks-
that I stole from you.
Yeah, the T-shirt that you stole to give away to everybody. Yep.
That I'm not going to give away to
Oh,
everybody. I'm
man,
going to steal
that's
it and give it to my
And
son.
apparently,
That's terrible.
if anyone in the audience recognizes that name, it was a web series.
Yes, it was a web series and a movie, all of which you can look up and check out online. And the game's going to be available relatively soon. I thought they said, right?
Three months-ish.
They're doing final.
It's going on
PC
iOS,
testing.
right?
Yeah. It's going on both, I believe, iOS and Android. I think.
Sounds like it's
Yeah,
a
so
husband
that
and
means
wife.
It's going to be. It's going to be
That
a
would
really neat
explain
game.
why we don't really know, just because there's so much.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of stuff
certification
going
on iOS and Android can be a mess.
It can be.
Okay, so
And
all of those sound rad.
Yeah, they do. And then the last thing I really have is that we talked to Polyarch, and we are putting together a completely different presentation for you guys on that and our discussion with those guys, and those are the guys who made Moss, which was my game of choice last year.
It was. Did they
Because
remember
it was
you?
awesome. They absolutely did. They were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
it's good to see you guys
instantly.
again." And it was a really good conversation. So you guys
Did you
should check
tell
it
them
out.
that they should have put our logo on their box?
Yeah, yeah. We told them. We told them what we thought. I got a couple of different things, and mostly they agreed. I mean,
They did. They said Sony
they were
said
like,
no.
"This is
Sony was
awesome,"
like, we
so,
can't have that.
Yeah, Sony.
Well, that's fine. I'll take that.
I mean, Sony's Sony. You know, right? I mean, so.
Listen, I mean, if they want to lie to us that way, that makes me feel a whole lot better. I'll take it. I'll take it.
And they did have some nice hints for
Yes,
what
they
could be
did.
coming.
They did. So you'll definitely want to check out the video interview that we did with them.
Yeah.
It definitely has some
when
interesting
we publish
stuff.
it.
Yeah,
Maybe
once,
tomorrow.
Once James gets it done. No, definitely not tomorrow.
Oh, not tomorrow?
No,
No,
we need to
Slackers
we
in
need
weeks.
to engineer that.
In the coming weeks.
Yes.
Yes,
in the coming
that's good.
weeks.
I like
Soon.
that.
When will that be now?
Soon.
There you go.
That's a line in my
All
story.
right, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, so
I'm done.
that's Jesse.
I'm
Jesse,
not finished, but I'm done.
That's right. I'm not finished, but I'll be done.
in standard Jesse fashion, we say, "What's the one awesome thing?" And he's like, "How about these 5?"
How about these 5 or 6?
So James, you played a game that I have seen
Oh my God.
constantly on my Facebook, and it makes me want to play it so bad. And I'm mad at you because you played it and I didn't, because I had to go do it. I did another thing that was pretty awesome. I can't talk about the thing that I did though. So
Soon.
yeah, so I had
When
to
will
pick
that be
some
now?
time.
Soon.
I don't even. They honestly didn't even tell me when the embargo lifts. So I'm just gonna have to wait until
figure
other
it out.
outlets publish, and then I go. I guess that's when I
Soon
can.
in geologic terms.
So tell us about your crazy workout.
So yeah, I had a spiritual experience at the Sony PSVR booth.
Get into that.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna.
That was from lack of oxygen. I'm just saying.
That's true. Dehydration.
Lack of cardio.
Yeah. So I met the developers for Beat Saber. Got to play the game, and
I'm sorry. What is it called?
It's called Beat Saber, and let's just explain what this is.
Right, please.
This is not a violent video game.
So Beat is in like the bird robot from Mega Man.
Sure.
Yo, that was a deep.
That was deep cut, big time.
No, you mean Beat like
That was a deep pull.
like. All right, never mind. That was a bad joke.
So essentially, what it is it's a rhythm VR game where you're in a tunnel and little cubes fly at you, and you hit them in time to really pretty good music. That's all original by the development team, which I was surprised at. It wasn't licensed; they made it, and this is already out on PC. It's not out on PSVR yet. That's what I tried. The PC community is making their own music. They're making their own mods.
Of course they are.
It is a huge, healthy community, and that excites me even more.
Y'all PC people
Know what we're doing?
don't let anything be. You got to just make everything different.
That's
Anyway.
right. And as soon as I put the headset on, I selected hard, and the guy said, "You really want to try that?" And I said, "I absolutely do." Because I played DDR, I played Guitar Hero.
He made him sign a waiver.
If I can just raise my hand for a moment, because that's the internal. I just want to picture you playing DDR. Did you play it professional?
Not professional, but
Did you play competitively though?
Definitely.
Like, I'm talking like where you lean back on the
I
bars.
said definitely competitive.
Definitely.
Okay,
competitive.
so for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Dance Dance Revolution is an arcade game that's like Guitar Hero but with dancing.
With the
and they have a giant D-pad, like the cross thing on a Nintendo controller on the ground, and you have to push the buttons in time, and it makes it look like you're dancing. Now, with your feet, you're right. There are two styles of this. There are the people that do it stylistically, so they try and like they make it like they're actually dancing. There are those kind of competitions where they play it on like medium and they like dance, and you know it's pretty cool. And then there's the crazy people like at the Dance Dance Revolution World Championships who just lean back on the bars and like just knock out their feet out like they're Irish step dancing, but they're Irish step dancing to dubstep.
There's a different class of player.
So like
That's
Dr.
the
Cockroach
dopest thing ever.
from
It's-
Monsters vs. Aliens.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly like that.
But they're doing it so yeah, that's what I'm in my head. My head
It was
canon.
the proto rhythm game. I mean, it's without DDR.
PhD in dance.
Without DDR, there is no Guitar Hero.
I agree with
And
you.
with no Guitar Hero, there's no Beat Saber, and the world would be a sad place.
Yeah, so anyway.
So
you
anyway,
would
all right.
like
So
Beat
back
Saber.
to you collapsing. Let's go.
Yes. So I instantly start playing this J-poppy kind of cool song.
Don't hate on J-pop.
And what I'm looking at, I've got the move controllers in my hand, and I'm seeing two lightsabers in front of me that I'm going to use to chop little cubes of music notes that are flying at me. That's okay. I'm good at that, and I was getting everything right. Then giant electricity walls fly at you, and you have to move out of the way. You have to duck, and I was in a full cardio workout inside of like 20 seconds that I was not prepared for. So the guy's like, "Wow, yeah, you're good." And meanwhile, I'm just trying to breathe and not like hurt my back. But it was really, really fun. And by the time I was done, I took it off and I said, I need to play that game immediately. And the development team was really passionate about the game. They were super psyched to talk to us. I think they don't know what they have on their hands. I think that this could be...
crazy.
Dance Dance Revolution was a cultural revolution. I mean, everybody I knew back then played that game, good or bad. Because it was
good or bad.
for like a year or two, but still...
You're dead right. Like
It was a big thing.
I hated that game, and I played it several times.
Did you hate play it?
Yeah,
I
I did.
hate playing.
Because I felt like it was so widespread. I had to at least experience it so I could be able to talk about
So you
it.
can be able to
Right.
hate it
Right.
appropriately.
I still don't believe that James had to duck.
No.
It hurt. It hurt.
Here's the thing. I don't understand. So, all right, for those of you that wonder what the heck we're talking about, this is just go look on YouTube, type in Beat Saber. You will see tons of promotional videos. I have no idea how the developers don't know they have a hit on their hands.
I think
because
it's really
every
shocking.
video that hits social blows up. And I see a new Beat Saber video at least every 3 or 4 days because they're paying for ads.
Yep.
They're targeting my demographic.
Yep.
And every time, and also I can't be hurting the algorithm because every time I see a Beat Saber video, I go, is this the one that I watched before? Maybe. And then I play it, and then I go, oh no, I've seen this girl do this before. And you know what? I watch it all the way through to the end.
That's a fact. I've watched every single Beat Saber video all the way to the end.
I didn't even know. Here's the real reason why I knew that. Why I know it's going to be a big thing. I did not know it was called Beat Saber until someone on a podcast literally just said the title Beat Saber, and I said, "Oh, that must be like literally." I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily, and Tim Geddes predicted, "Oh, well, maybe Sony's gonna announce some new PSVR things. Maybe they're gonna announce Beat Saber." And I was like, in my head, in less than 3 seconds, I was like, "What's Beat Saber? Oh, it's got to be that thing.
Right.
That's got to be Beat Saber."
It's the only two things in the game.
And the fact that I was able to literally intuit the title of that game, that's how big that is. Now, admittedly, I'm a little in tune with gamer culture. You're in tune with gamer culture too. Both of us also like Star Wars.
But
facts.
As a sidebar, I thought when I heard Beat Saber, I thought it was made up. Like, there's no way that's the name. It's exactly what you do. It can't possibly be. It has to be something awesome. And as it turns out, Beat Saber is such the perfect name because it tells you exactly what the game is about and what you have to
communication.
do. You use a saber to hit targets.
It wasn't called
to the beat.
Light Tunnel Saber Force. It was just called
Beat Saber. So perfect. The guy,
It's perfect. It's
all but divine inspiration. All right, so that's Beat Saber. I'm gonna try my damnedest to play it over the next couple of days.
Can we see this as a tag? Is also hella fun to. I mean, we kind of touched on it. It's hella fun to watch too.
It is.
Beat Saber. It's one of those games where you don't necessarily, if you're not skilled at it or whatever, you're not missing out. You can watch it on YouTube and watch people go through and do crazy. It's just like Guitar Hero and watch them do amazing things.
Someone just did Dragon Force on Expert, just like on Guitar Hero in Beat Saber, and it was sick. We just watched it. We just watched it at dinner.
We just watched it. It was insane.
We're gonna watch this when this is done because I need to see it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Somebody can record me playing Beat Saber because I'm gonna go today or tomorrow or the day after.
What needs to happen is someone needs to record Oprah or The View playing Beat Saber, so
it's
all the soccer moms at home go. That's my morning workout.
Beat Saber would be amazing.
Yeah, Oprah playing Beat Saber would shut it all down.
I want to watch Oprah play.
And then everyone would get one.
Yeah,
everyone gets a
Beat Saber.
You get a Beat Saber, and you get a Beat Saber.
Okay, all right. So enough about
that was Beat Saber.
With that said, the title, the subhead on our review.
What's that?
You get a Beat Saber?
Has to be, and you get a Beat Saber, and you get a Beat Saber. That's what it's got to be. And somebody can remake the GIF of her going.
And then bees, obviously.
Bees. Okay, John, you are reinventing esports. Apparently,
I am.
Have you ever watched an esport?
Yes, actually, just before I went and played this,
all right,
we watched a tournament.
Oh.
We did.
Jesse and I were standing and watching a tournament going,
What game?
Arena of Valor.
Yes.
Oh, Arena of Valor.
Yeah, we watched
that game is more popular than any game in the United States ever because it's played in China.
Yeah.
Because video game consoles are legal, but everybody got phones. So that's a MOBA on phones.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they were
that's
all there
fair.
like this playing on their phones. It was crazy. We were like, what is going on?
The thing that I noticed is that there was more money in boom cameras than I have in my house.
Yo.
There were cameras flying over my head of the crowd and the announcers. It was a sporting event. I know it is.
Well, it was like the world championship or whatever.
It was a big deal. But Jesse and I were walking around.
Jerseys, they're all wearing jerseys.
Yes.
It was crazy.
I want some. I need.
There were posters of the winners after. They were giving out posters of the winning team.
And there were people that were hyped about that.
Yes.
Because the Arena of Valor is crazy. But anyway, esports is a thing.
Hyperbook Studio, it's a Polish studio, is coming out with, they call it's Haber. Hyper Arena VR.
Oh, is that what it stands for?
Yes. It's Tron.
It's Tron.
Tron.
Literally
it's
Tron.
You're in.
They don't want to be Tron. We said that to
Ninja
them. No,
we said that. They said, yeah, everyone says Tron.
Is that what name now?
Haver.
HAVR.
It's Tron.
So
I mean, not to hate, but it's Tron. It
no,
was fun.
it's not hating.
It was fun.
It's a reference, and
Listen, if you're
So-
Tron, you're Tron. Own it.
we've been waiting for.
We played one-on-one disc fighting.
Yeah, one-on-one disc fighting.
Wait, you fight with frisbees?
Yes.
And if you've seen the new Tron and the Tron in the arena, it's exactly that shape. Like the weird hexagon, floor-bottom shape. It's exactly that shape.
I was bouncing headshots off the floor.
Look at that. The hairs of my
Oh,
arms
yeah.
standing up right now.
I mean, I got
Just from the
beat.
sound of
I
it.
got beat.
You did get
Jesse,
beat handily.
Jesse did beat me because I could not figure out shielding because there's shields in one hand and your other hand is triggering your disc and you can bring it back to your hand. But I did figure out that I could hit him in the head while bouncing it off the floor in front of him.
Which was surprising the first 2 times. I'm like, but
How do you spell this game?
I want to know.
HAVR.
I want to know how we live in a world where you couldn't figure out how to use a shield.
As like
Yeah,
a
that's pretty
sidebar,
terrible.
so I'm looking at
It was bad.
the ads right now, the little thing. HAVR, Hyper Arena VR.
they want it to be an esport. I'm sorry.
A VR.
No, it's HAVR is, if you look that up, you'll be able to find it.
Yep.
No, you won't.
Oh.
I just tried.
Try looking up
Search
Hyper-
Hyper Arena VR and you'll absolutely
Oh,
find it.
Yes.
Hyper Arena VR.
I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Hey, listen, the SEO on HAVR probably not great.
Not good.
Anyways.
Google thinks you mean have.
But yeah,
Anyways, I thought it was super trippy and very awesome.
it was a lot of fun.
So you
You're
just
like-
described
I'm
VR.
super curious.
Well, yes
Are we
and
fighting
no.
tomorrow then?
Because we were able to dodge out of the way. Like you
Yeah,
could
so-
sidestep, you couldn't leave your box, and they told you not to leave your box
Yeah, they were like,
because they didn't want
limited
people
space.
getting hurt.
Limited
So
space.
I know I can't say the thing that I want to say.
It's okay to say that there's a thing you wanted to say. That's fine.
I won't say it other than his last name is Urbanowitz, which the first half of it looks like urban, and I feel like that means that the game was made for me.
So does that mean I'm beating you in this tomorrow?
I'm going to dominate you just like
We
I did
we
in
did
Mario
tell them
Kart.
we were bringing our friends
We did. We said we
Tomorrow.
would come back.
because
So by dominate, how many points can you possibly score in this? Is it
I feel
possible?
like that means
Oh, I got
That's
so
so
Tron.
I don't know.
Can we?
It's
Is
Tron,
it
man.
possible for me to outscore him by 22 points?
Yo, we're going to finish
Yes.
this
I didn't
night.
actually see a score other than win and lose.
all I saw was you lose. That was done.
All I saw was 2-hit headshot combo, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know I didn't know I could get a 3-hit headshot
Yeah, like,
combo. And I did that too, off the floor.
Off the floor.
Okay. I mean,
You going to see me in a fair one? 2 out of 3, 5 out of 7? What's yours?
all right.
So that's what I saw. Now I did just quickly.
It's
I'm gonna
fine.
be quick.
We're gonna go a little bit over today. I think that's fine because we were gonna go over anyway because I was gonna talk about Smash for 43 minutes. So
The hype
go
train
ahead.
is real.
To add to Drew's statement as the first time he's gone to this and how big it was, what I noticed and Drew has yet to experience is that Microsoft isn't on the same floor this year.
Microsoft is literally in
Has
another
their own
building.
thing.
They have their own building that we have to go to tomorrow.
I don't know how we're gonna do that. We'll figure it
We'll
out.
take care of it.
There's 5
but
of us.
there's a whole nother building with Microsoft. But what it meant was that there was room to walk.
It's valid.
And as a person who physically moved people out of the way so that the rest of our team could get to things to do.
No, for real. Let's talk about the beginning because me and James actually went to the room where everything happens. Remember, we were in that hallway. It was right when we met. I was waiting in line to see the What's Good Games girls, and they all just ninja vanished. Probably because they knew I was coming. I have that effect on people. We were waiting in line, and all of a sudden they were just like poof, ninja vanished. It's almost like they were playing Senran Kagura, and it was their clothes. And they were just like. Poof.
That's another deep cut. I love it.
No. People who listen to our podcast know of the mockery that we give of Senran Kagura.
Deserved.
They
Yes.
deserve it.
Deserved
No. They have a new game this year. I'll show you.
It's worse.
I
It's
played.
so
I
much
actually
worse.
played it. I wish it wasn't as pervy as it is because it's actually good.
It has good game mechanics.
The rest of the
Combat
game
is
is good.
amazing, but like, oh, the
Yeah.
sex
Anyway,
is-
so Drew, listen. Let me tell you what we had to do. So Nintendo. First off, there was no industry hours. It was open to the public. Everybody went in
Period.
all at once.
I can't
And
even imagine.
Nintendo did not have this scheduling appointment, which, by the way, John got some answers, so we can try and figure some of that out for the Smash nonsense.
Look, can I say,
But-
like, as a newbie, I can't even imagine. Like, it was a fair amount of time to meet people, but like.
So remember that room where you were like there and you turned around and me and James just kind of vanished? Okay. Picture that room.
Okay.
Okay. For the folks at home, this room was, I would say, about as wide as like your average, like where all the registers are at a Walmart.
Yeah.
It's about that wide.
accurate.
About as deep as maybe a small grocery store. So we're figuring like a smallish grocery store.
A bodega, if you will.
A bodega.
And I will.
Probably a little bigger than a regular bodega. But
market.
big. Now picture it literally shoulder to shoulder people.
Yeah, it was
That
insane.
honestly makes me physically ill.
Shoulder to shoulder people. Some small groups were like groups like maybe bigger than, because if you were a group of 5 or 6, you could not form a circle to
For
hold
a
out the
long
people.
time.
But we're talking, like we were a group of 5 and we were just, they opened the doors.
We searched.
Mad insanity. Now this is what we had to do because you had to get to the Nintendo booth to get in line to play Super Mario Odyssey.
Was
you
it a sprint?
a sprint is not even the right word.
You couldn't sprint.
Because there are too many bodies.
There's too many bodies. So John, who is a large man, respectfully,
Yeah, and I'm 6'3",
He-
240 pounds.
he has a big backpack, and I'm holding on to his backpack like it's a harness. And the one of the girls who was with us, smaller than me, holding onto my backpack. We were a train of 3 people. Now the funniest part about this is James was right there doing some nonsense on his phone,
And I was
and
like,
he was
"What
like,
happened?"
he's like, no guys, it's cool. I'll keep up. And it's like, first off, no. And second of all, you're on your phone. You're gonna die. We ran. I am surprised no one died.
I was the guy facing away from the waves at the beach. And it was just people.
That's elaborate.
I felt like we were salmon swimming upriver, and only the grizzly bear survives.
I don't think
And
we-
I was just pushing people out of the way.
He did.
I couldn't have gone to that show, honestly.
I'm just, and that's why I'm trying to say
And this year is
Microsoft's not
so
there.
much
The
better.
setup was so perfect. Like I like people, but physical proximity to a lot of people makes me super anxious. So cons have always been like I want to do it, but I can't do it kind of thing. And this one,
That would have been brutal.
this one sort of perfectly. I can't. I'm not sure this is a compliment. I think it is. Like it sort of perfectly met that. Like I got to go to the Sony area. I get to sit down in front of this gigantic, super lengthy screen and watch whatever it is they're putting up when I'm super stressed out, or go to other places where there are giant screens and get to watch that rather than trying to navigate with folks. Like I was afraid that it would be this overwhelming crush of people, and spoiler, it certainly is that when like the regular non-industry folks show up, because that was an experience.
I still think
You were by the food
I
truck.
still
I
think
didn't know that they were coming. Like you guys all knew, but I
They
had
should have
no
rang a
idea.
bell. Be like, ding ding.
And so like I
Like
saw
the
all the
start
people
of the
standing out by the
market.
food trucks, like, oh, I guess they're here to come in, but I didn't know it was happening. And then like, so there was another black dude, like, and when you see another black dude in a situation where there's a lot of white people, you give yourself a head nod. And rather than a head nod, he was like, "You all right?" And like, when you say that, that's a signal that something's about to go down. And I didn't pick up on it until like I tried to go back outside, like, oh, maybe I can get a soda from like the grilled cheese sandwich truck. And thousands, like when I say thousands, like I just stood there like the lee of the stone. It was.
now you want to talk about deep
It was
cuts.
Lord of the Rings, Siege of Moria, like, or is it Siege of?
I just Lord of the Rings, Rats of Nimdu. Like
Nice.
Lee
Definitely
of the
right.
stone.
Rats of Nimdas. Yeah, man. I still think, and this isn't just me being fussy. I really do think that they should rather than do longer hours, they should do an extra day,
Yeah.
and they should have E3 be like Wednesday to Sunday.
Yep.
They should have 3 days of industry only, or 2 days of industry only,
That'd be
2.5 days,
Yeah.
and then 2.5 days where it's a regular con. Because I would bet half of those booths could transform entirely to just merch shops and free stuff handing outs. Like
that is a
as it is right
solid
now,
I would yes
I go and I sit and talk to, like, I'll go and talk to a booth where we're trying to talk like shop. Like, I want to cover your game, and I want to like help promote it, and then someone will just roll in, cut me off, like Drew's running the booth, and I'm like, hey Drew, listen, I want to do this video series, can you get me in touch with these people? Or me and James are there and we're like, hey, could you get some B-roll to us so we can make a video? And then someone comes in being like, hey, you got any t-shirts?
Yeah.
That's
Kirby's
fine.
not the pink that I remember. Is that the same pink?
Yeah, like, or even worse,
There's some anger in here, guys. I mean,
it's not anger. It's
salt.
like it's salt. It's salt.
It's salty.
It's salt.
It's
It's salt.
salty.
It's salt because to be fair, we are there to work.
Yeah, I'll tell you right
But-
now, like having industry have a couple of days, I would have had a complete different approach to today. Like I was trying to balance between
We would not be here for the fan days. I'll tell you what.
I like being around the fans. It
One
was
fan day.
It did trigger a lot of anxiety, but it was also really cool to see. Well, first of all, I think I didn't anticipate. I meant to say this in the beginning. Like the diversity at the event, like shocked me honestly. I thought it would be like, oh, it's gonna like most events. It was mostly white people, and I saw so many not only white people obviously, but like people of color. It was so heartening in a way, and like. As a person of color who came literally from the other side of the country to come here and was expecting and kind of bracing for a particular experience, I got a pretty nice experience. Like, straight up, I saw a lot of black people and Latinos and other people who weren't in either black or Latino things, but they weren't. They were just people. That doesn't exist in the world for people of color in general. And it felt so welcoming and just like I felt like I was I wrote it on Facebook. I was like, I felt like I was around my people. Like even the things that I didn't like so much, it was so cool to just be around people who are all into gaming. When you talk to people, they all talk about gaming. It was great.
I hate zombies.
I like zombies.
There
There's
were
a whole
zombies.
lot of zombie stuff everywhere, and you know what?
Like actual zombies.
Pictures.
Oh.
There will be
There were
pictures.
literally zombies, not literally, but those Dying Light zombies were very well made up.
I wish they were literally zombies.
So they did not.
I was disappointed that I couldn't get Immortal.
When that dude
Immortal
tried to
Life
snap
just
at
bite
me, they didn't warn you. There were no signs. Like he tried to bite me.
Yep, he chomped.
I legit almost punched that dude in the face, and like I felt so bad. I didn't go back through the concourse because I'm sort of triggered by costume characters, and like he didn't like slow motion. He was like, ah. I would have knocked that dude fully out. No, bad. And I'm going.
Happy segue. Speaking of knocking people out, let's talk about smashing people out. The most awesome thing that happened to me today is Nintendo announced a new Smash Brothers game. Not just a Smash Brothers port, which is what was suspected. No, a new, entirely new, built from the ground up and awesome, dare I say, ultimate Smash Brothers game. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. It's coming out December 7th of 2018, the first Saturday after it. I am telling you this now, unless my wife tells me no when I get home. I am streaming that game for an entire day. Everyone is welcome to come over. Drew, you want to come over and get beat? That's fine. And we're gonna, and I'm gonna be playing it. Here are the important facts about Smash. First, if you have a character that was in Smash at some point and you liked playing as that character, maybe they're gone. They're in. Literally everyone is in. Yeah, you can dab it for that. I'll allow it. So every character. My biggest Evan, my oldest, his biggest fear with a new Smash was that like his favorite characters, which are Ryu and Cloud, which are definitely not Nintendo characters. He was worried that he was going to lose both of his mains in Smash. And I told him, I'm like, you better get ready for that because guest characters do not come back. Because historically they have not. Well, bear with me. You can yo me in a second. Hold on. I just want to get the facts out. We're already almost 10 minutes over. So every character ever is in it, which is crazy. Ridley from Metroid, who is a character that has been asked for and begged for by the fan base for
literally every year that Smash has been the thing.
They've been asking for Ridley, and it's like, oh, we can't do that because he's too big. And now they finally figured it out. And beyond that, this game, everything looks sharper, everything looks tighter. It was like they sent me my perfect game.
It's one of the best series, like, period, in terms of consistency and, like, the expectation to play. Like, I can go into, like, when I was watching the demo for gameplay, I said to myself, I played that game 1,000 times. I know exactly what to do going into it. And they even went through the announcement. It was hyper detailed in terms of like what different characters can do and all this other kind of stuff. And it still felt like a very familiar game. You can still, unfortunately, button mash your way through the game.
Which makes it accessible for kids.
Right, and like that's exactly what I was like. That's why I so kids can play, and that would be great. But I also think that it ultimately makes the game more expansive. Like, yes, you have this button mashy game that you can play with kids, but if you want to take it more seriously, it also becomes like a hyper competitive game, which is just as fun.
Then you get rid of items, you put it on Omega level,
Right.
and then you rock.
Right, and that's where the customization comes in. It's so simple to adjust to different things that you can have the Smash Brothers you're thinking about. You just go into options.
While fighting on top of the tower in Hyrule and Breath of the Wild style.
You darn
and
right.
smashing the garbage out of it. The whole thing collapsed on top of it. It was amazing.
Saying we're not real. Those are all real.
Why would you wish that those things were not real?
That's not what I meant to say, but I ran out of my.
Because that sounds awesome to me.
I'm a writer on film vocab. Help me out.
That's fine. We'll give you a break. It's been a long day. So that's Smash. We are going to have a big write-up. I'm going to be working on it. I don't even know if it'll be ready for tomorrow because it's been a long day. But we're going to have a write-up. We're going to have a complete roster list. And I think it's entirely possible that I will be depending on children to help me rank them.
I think it's like 62.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
I love it so much. What I really hope is that you don't have to unlock all 62.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to unlock everything except 8.
That's true.
But they realize that unlocking characters the old way stinks, and so they are working on making it so that unlocking the characters is better.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but that's one of the reasons why we're going to be streaming it like crazy for 24 hours or whatever after it's done. Huh?
Smash?
Yeah.
It seemed like they were implying that there are multiple ways to unlock the same characters. So you can do it through...
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure by the time it comes out, someone will have a guide.
You just pay them cash.
Done. You know what?
If they put out 66 characters.
If they put out a DLC pack, if they put out a DLC pack that said, "Listen, you just want all the characters unlocked day one, $5," I will buy that in minutes.
Yo, facts. If they put out a DLC thing and said it's $30 for every character, no hesitation at all.
Yeah, you're right. $30. I would pay $90 to buy a special edition with all the characters on it.
Facts.
I'm going to apologize to my wife right now for my sons and I yelling at each other about.
Sorry,
Smash.
Linda. Sorry, Linda.
I'm sorry, Linda.
All right. So let's talk a little bit, very briefly, about the coolness we're doing tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the last industry day, so all of us are going to go try and do something in the morning. So I'm rolling into Kingdom Hearts 3 deep. Because obviously I am. And then I'm going to go try and play Mega Man 11.
Let's reverse the order of the revelations from before. So if you're starting... What are you
going to try and do? You can say pass if you don't know. Because we do have to figure it out by tomorrow.
I'm going to pass.
I'm going to Microsoft.
So you can do some of that stuff. What do you want to do tomorrow morning? Other than sleep.
Other than sleep. I'm going to be trying to check out Square Enix.
If you don't
So you and me are boys.
That's right.
Since we're going to go to Square Enix.
And John's going to come with me.
I'm going to go with James.
Done. We
Microsoft.
figured out our Microsoft problem. Are you going with them to Microsoft?
Yo, so I'm going to tell you something.
Do we think Anthem will be at Microsoft?
It has to.
That's the only place it can be now.
It's not going to disappear from the show.
However, the Division 2 looks so delicious.
I bet you it'll be there on the Xbox One X.
Yep.
If I was impressed, I was impressed by several games, but Division 2 looks...
If you play Division 2...
Sexy. It looks so sexy.
If you play Division 2, will you shout thanks for the res for us?
You already know that I'm biologically obligated.
Thanks for the res, Meg.
True.
Let's loot some loots.
You get to play Destiny tomorrow.
So, yes.
And I purposely did not talk about Destiny.
So I
got to play today.
So you notice how I was trying to shut my mouth.
Jesse gets to play COD Blops tomorrow.
I'll just say that I'm a big fan
Call of
of
Duty
Destiny
Black
2.
Ops.
And if you're a fan of Destiny, or especially Destiny 2 or anything and you want to know what Gambit is like or anything else, you about to get the real tea.
Well, here's what
me.
Are you serving tea? We just memed again. I think here's what's gonna have to happen. I think what's gonna have to happen is we're gonna record our group podcast, and then me and Drew are gonna go have Destiny on the porch.
Bro, we could very easily have like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna. I think with things that I love the most, I don't ramble so much because I don't have to like fluff it. And I watched Destiny 2 Forsaken today. And really, all I'm looking for is like I already have the information. Just looking for the hands-on version of it.
I look forward to it.
So delicious.
I purposely did not talk about it. So
I watched like.
Everybody, be ready for tomorrow. Be ready.
It's gonna be good.
You don't understand. You might. I just.
Destiny. I don't even. Well, I mean, I hope I get to play Kingdom Hearts 3 tomorrow. I really do.
You'll get it. You'll make it happen.
I mean, it's right near the front, and I got Jesse to help bodyguard me.
I was expecting, like, as a new person to the event, I was expecting that this would be like the primer, and then next year would be the real event where I got to have like the emotional experiences and like be able to interact with things. And even though I didn't know a lot, because I don't know a lot, it's like the event still felt very friendly, generally speaking, and open. So if you went into a place and you had some questions, I went and played Mega Man 11 today, and.
How you didn't tell me?
I did. I said that. I said I played Mega Man 11 and I played the Mega Man Legacy.
He did say that.
The Buster thing.
All right.
And
Maybe
like
I
the
missed that
Legacy
text.
thing, like I played Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, and like I played Mega Man 2 and got like super emotional because I played with my best friend Josh in 4th grade, and that was like the first game we beat together, and it felt identical. The controls are. Then the switching from like a Nintendo controller to what is it? The new Nintendo controller. I expected it would be some kind of improvement or some other kind of thing to try to smoothify it or something, and it was just as Nintendo hard, and it felt like at once like respectful and like appropriate.
All right.
Spoiler: I'm definitely playing more tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we went a little over tonight, but that's okay. First time we had all 5 of us here, and we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Plus first night, exactly.
Right? First night we had 3, then 4, then 5. So we're ramping up. So for those of you listening, thank you very much. I do hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording. We will be back tomorrow with our final industry day worth of stuff to say, but not our final day of the week. We still got a couple more days to go. How about that, guys?
Can't wait.
We're like not even kind of done. So until next time, I do hope you have a wonderful day. And don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Boom.
Like you definitely don't know how good you are at closing because you are so good at closing.
You're really good.
I'm gonna say this like.
Thank you for listening to Engage, a family gaming podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next week.